Mga kababayan, on March 11, 2025, former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte was forcibly taken by the Philippine National Police upon his arrival at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. He was brought to Villamor Air Base, a military air base, detained for nearly 12 hours, and then flown out of the country on a private jet to The Hague, all allegedly because of a warrant issued by the International Criminal Court. This was patently an illegal arrest. This constitutes extraordinary rendition. A Filipino citizen, a former president, was taken into custody without a valid warrant issued by a Philippine court, without due process, and without any legal basis under our laws. The Constitution is clear. Section 2, Article 3 of our Constitution explicitly states, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures of whatever nature or for any purpose shall be inviolable, and no search warrant or warrant of arrest shall issue except upon probable cause to be determined personally by the judge after examination under oath or affirmation of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. This means that for an arrest to be lawful, it must be carried out pursuant to a warrant issued by a Filipino judge of a Philippine court. Nasaan po ang warrant of arrest na inisyu ng hukuman ng Pilipinas? Wala. Without a valid warrant from a Philippine court, this was at best a warrantless arrest. Under the rules of court, warrantless arrests are only permitted in 3 instances: in flagrante delicto, hot pursuit, and escaped prisoner. None of these circumstances applied to the case of the former president. So, what was the legal basis of his arrest? The authorities acted solely on an ICC warrant, a document that has no legal effect in the Philippines unless reviewed and validated by a Philippine court. In fact, even assuming without conceding that the government itself wished to recognize and enforce the ICC's warrant, it still violated the Rome Statute itself. Even by ICC standards, the former president should have been brought before a Philippine judge to determine the validity of his arrest before he was handed over to a foreign court. Under Article 59 of the Rome Statute, a state party which has received a request for arrest and surrender shall immediately take steps to arrest the person in question in accordance with its laws and the provisions of Part 9, and shall bring that person before the competent judicial authority in that state. Yan ang sinasabi ko paulit-ulit nung nasa labas ako ng gate ng Villamor Air Base. And why was this not done? If they claim to abide by international law and standards, then why did they conveniently choose to ignore this provision? The fact remains that we are no longer a state party to the Rome Statute. We are no longer a member of the ICC. In fact, in a letter dated December 15, 2023, the President himself wrote to me, with respect to your concerns, legal or otherwise, on the investigation to be conducted by the International Criminal Court into the previous administration's war on drugs, I remain steadfast in my resolve that the jurisdiction of the ICC over the Republic of the Philippines after the effectivity of its withdrawal therefrom is very much in question. To this end, this government will not assist the ICC in any way, shape, or form. So if the government itself has declared non-cooperation with the ICC, why did the PNP violate this very policy and enforce a foreign warrant? Even granting for the sake of argument that we have some duty to cooperate with either the ICC or Interpol, does that duty override the fundamental rights of every Filipino enshrined in our Constitution? What happened on March 11, 2025 is not just about one man. It is about all of us. It is about the country. If a former president can be taken without due process, what stops them from doing the same to any other Filipino? Therefore, we must dare to ask more questions. Under whose authority did the PNP act? Why did they enforce a foreign warrant without a Philippine court order? Why didn't they at least bring PRRD before a judge, as required by the Rome Statute itself? Even more disturbing is the silence of the armed forces of the Philippines. Why did the AFP stand idly by while a former commander-in-chief was taken from a military base under questionable circumstances? How could they allow a foreign tribunal to override on our constitutional guarantees? We have now lost a former president. I pray that we do not lose the country next. Your Honor, Senators Cayetano and Marcos and other senators present, alam naman natin lahat at alam nila na mali ang ginawa nila. Ginawa nila yon just to demolish political opponents. This is all about politics. The administration is using government resources, the ICC, to demolish the opposition. Wala na tayong argument. Mali ang ginawa. Ang tanong ngayon, ano ang gagawin natin para maibalik ang dating Pangulo sa Pilipinas? Kasi nag-iisa ako ngayon dito na gumagawa ng paraan para maibalik ang ating dating Pangulo sa ating bayan. Thank you.